Okay, so welcome everyone, and first of all, welcome Aditi, welcome Rahul. Lovely to have
Thank
you here. So
Thank you for having us.
that's kind of you, but thank you. So I'll give you a little bit of brief about what the session is about to all the audience present here. So this is a talk show we have been having with people of our degree, the seniors of our degree who have been doing different things, have been exploring different stuff in various fields. So this is a session to help you uh, get connected with them, know about this experiences, know about the journey, learn from them, and know what else there is in line that can be done by you. So we hope this session is very useful to us. But given that this is going to be very candid, and we'll aim to keep it as candid as possible. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. We'll take questions at the end. We'll also take some of the questions in between. So if anyone has a question, you may raise your hand. We'll call you, or otherwise we'll take it from the chats too. So with that kept aside, this on Sunday, having every one of you here, it is nice to see you. But okay, Aditi, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you are working right now in Czech Republic as a data
Yeah.
engineer, but what is exactly the role like, and how did you get into it?
Yes. So, okay, let's starting. I am actually an hospitality graduate before I pivoting into data science and data engineering, basically the data world. So around 2021, I graduated from IHM Kolkata, and after that, it was a peak pandemic time, as we all know, and
Right.
all the hotels were shutting. The industry didn't look that promising, so I decided for a career switch, and that was the exact year you can see the first batch was rolling out for the IIT BS degree. So I'm actually the first batch of this degree.
Wow.
Yeah. So I enrolled in this degree, and side by side I was doing some courses around SQL, and Python was our part of the module only, the first foundation we all know. So
Hmm.
Python
Right.
in the degree, and similarly I was applying to a lot of places, mainly in the data analyst roles, but also in some marketing and stuff as well. But then I got this internship that in my current company as a data analyst intern. I job worked there for 6 months. They liked me, and I got converted to full time after 6 months. And for 2 years, I worked there as a data analyst. And then last December, in the December cycle, I got promoted to junior data engineer, and I was sent to Europe for a different project. And that's how I'm in Prague right now as a data engineer.
Yes. Um, Rahul, before your introduction, we had a talk some time back, and I
Yeah.
had deliberately asked you to not look up the other guest because I wanted to know what your reaction would be of the uh, different change. She was in hospitality and then now in data science, and I want how does it feel like? What can life bring, and how different can life be like?
I mean, it's super amazing to even share this session with her. Yeah. After listening to all the like her journey to where she is right now. Uh, I mean, like it's really great. First of all, hi Aditi. I'm sorry I didn't formally greet you in the beginning. So,
It's okay.
like it's been a great journey. Like listening to your story was amazing already. From hospitality to data science is something that I can only imagine of. And personally, I'm not sure if I would have been able to do that in my place. So, yeah, kudos to you for that.
Yes.
Thanks.
So, coming to you, Rahul, you are now a student doing your masters in TU Dortmund, Germany, but
Yeah.
and you have done BTech in electrical engineering. You're also doing this degree.
Yeah, I mean BE in electronics and communication, but yeah, like they're pretty close to.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, no, it's
So,
okay, it's okay. To please even harder, so easy is.
right. So, how did this like was this passion for data science, was it something that you had been looking into, or was it when you saw the degree that you felt like this is what I wanted to do? What was that catapult that brought you into this degree?
To be honest, I've always been interested in data science. Like this might sound a bit stupid, but like whenever we used to play hand cricket during school days, I'm pretty sure most of us here would have done that. So
Yes.
like I was the one who used to record the scores. I mean, it was completely unnecessary. I used to record scores. I used to check the average of players and like that, and that grew to my interest in data science. Eventually, I wanted to do my master's in data science as well. But the problem was if you have to do your master's in Europe, in any of the European countries, I guess, you need to have the required credits in, I mean, the relevant subjects in your bachelor's, which I clearly didn't because I did my bachelor's in electronics. So even during the call, I mentioned that I wanted to choose a degree which will eventually permit me to somehow merge into the data science domain or at least in the AI domain, which is why I landed here because the current degree that I'm doing here is automation and robotics, which helps me specialize in something called cognitive systems, which translates to intelligent systems, which will help me learn AI ML here while getting a formal degree in automation and robotics. So I think down the line that will help me, develop a career in the same domain in the future.
That is lovely and pretty exciting too. Robotics and data science. That well, I'll say personally, robotics is one of the first loves of everyone coming into tech, and that is what
Yeah,
everyone wanted to do as a kid. So having that, and okay, so as we see here, there is still scope for everyone to pursue that. But given that, what was the process like, and like how did you apply, and what was it that you got through, and what was the process exactly like?
yeah. You need to get started with the shortlisting universities and the programs here. Uh, I mean, one of the major challenges that I faced was the name of the degree program. Like they used to keep these weird names like information and communication technology. You might read this name and think, okay, this is just relevant to communication or information. But then if you look at the specializations that they offer a wide range of domains in that. So initially, university shortlisting was a bit challenging for me. I had to read the course module in depth, and I think I spent about 20 days just doing that and shortlisted about 10-15 universities. Once I
Mm.
had a potential list of universities that I can apply to, and then I gave my IELTS exam. And one of the most important things while coming to Germany is getting an APS certificate. I think people who are here who are trying or who might be trying in the future, please get your APS certificate at the earliest. I'm talking in like from experience, and even my friends who are trying to come to Germany, one of the major hurdles that they're facing is the APS certificate. The problem is they introduce it recently, which means the processing capabilities from their side is not that good, and it might delay up to 3 or 4 months also. Uh, so get your APS certificates faster and as early as possible.
Okay, one
Yeah.
thing, like what exactly is APS certificate?
That is something. All right. So not everyone applying to Germany will be asked for an APS certificate. I think it is exclusively for students from India, China, and Vietnam. Also, the reason behind this is not that good because the main reason why this was introduced was that a lot of students from these countries apparently came in through fraudulent documents. So APS is something that will act as a
Okay.
checkpoint. That will act as a checkpoint, and initially the embassy or the governing authority will be assessing our educational documents from 10th grade mark sheet to your 8th semester mark sheets and say that okay, this guy is not a fraudulent person and he has got all the valid certificates and he can be proceeded for the further processing. So that's not something to be happy about, I guess, but yeah, we have to get that done.
That is something I have to live by.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, any European bureaucracy takes time, so it's better to do it way ahead before applying. So anything, if you
yeah,
apply visa or any certificate, it will take time. So don't leave anything for the last minute. That's for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so you come going to Czech Republic, was it the same with you? Also, one more thing, is there a language requirement that it is necessary?
Um, from my side, I am basically coming as an expat. So expat is someone the company sends relocates, or the company pays for everything. Like I didn't have to take any headache, touch wood, so it's
Okay.
very nice for me. But yes, for immigrants, like people I have been talking to, there is if you want to apply for permanent residency and all those things, then there is a language requirement. Definitely you have to pass a certain level of language test, and then you will get your permanent residency. But if you just want to work here, for some of the requirements, you will have the language, like you have to be this proficient, like you have to pass some level. But for most, it's just need to be good in English. Yeah.
Okay.
And in Czech right now, the industry is like literally in a booming phase. Germany, it has already grown up very big, but Czech is kind of like in a booming stage. Many big companies are now opening offices like recently, like Microsoft, Google, all these offices are fairly new here. And there is a huge hiring happening here. Literally, I get calls like from all those big companies, but they also have some requirements that they need to fulfill, and all those things are there. But there is happening hiring going on here pretty crazy.
Wow.
so, okay, coming to your company, Aditi, a little. So, you started as an intern and then you became a full-time employee and now you're a data engineer. So,
Yeah.
how has it been with the you also doing a degree along with this, and you had left it in between because the work you said was became too hectic for some time. But how has it evolved right now with you still getting back into the degree? How are you managing things, and like how is the schedule like then?
Yeah. I am pretty much doing the my job and degree side by side from the very beginning. Previously, I used to when I am primarily from Kolkata, and for my job I moved to Delhi first. And when I was in Delhi, it was the same. But since my family moved with me, so it was a lot easier handling things, managing
Okay.
things, and but degree and job, you have to give your 100. There is no chance that you cannot spare any part of yourself, otherwise it would be like one of the things will suffer. And for me also, for some time, like I had to you have to trade off for some certain things. Sometimes you have to trade off your job a bit little bit, and sometimes you have to trade off your degree a little. So that's the kind of the calculation you have to make, which will definitely don't trade off your job during the appraisal season. And that's a no no. You won't get money otherwise. And definitely
Very
don't
true.
trade off your degree during the exam season. So that used to be my calculation. And but when I moved to Prague, it became a bit difficult because moving to a new country, setting up here your place, and like understanding how the things work. So that's why for around a year I have paused. I have completed my diploma and then I have taken a break. And after that, from this term, I will again joining the degree course. So let's see.
Okay, this is something you both have gone through, but a little differently. So you both have migrated to a new country, but then again, Rahul, you were a student, and Aditi, you as a working professional, you both had quite different experiences, I'd say. So
Yeah.
going to a new country, adjusting there, how the homesick does one feel in that process, and how does one cope with it? So, starting with you, Rahul, if you
Yeah.
want to share on it.
Yeah. So initially it was quite hard, to be very honest, because I don't know in Czech, but in Germany, like there's this concept that Germans, even if they know English, they don't talk in English. They always expect you to speak
Yes.
German. And initially I used to ask them questions in English, which I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to. You always have to ask them in German first, especially English, to ask if they know German first, if they know English first, and then ask the question in English. If we ask questions in English directly, certain people might take it in the wrong way and think we are trying to be a bit rude. I didn't know that initially, but now I think I'm better used to that. Trying to avoid conversation in the first place. If at all I need something, I always try to translate it up in Google and uh, like try to talk in German. But then they get back to me in English. It's like enough feeling a language.
Okay.
Talk back in
So
English.
you're still not fluent in German. Is that
I
so?
mean, like I know the basic phrases that will get me through in any emergency situation. Hopefully that doesn't come touch wood, but then yeah. Uh,
Right.
but the thing is, at some point, you have to realize that if you want to survive in Germany, you don't need German. English is fine. But of course, if you want to live in Germany, then definitely German comes as an integral part. Even if you want to talk to
True.
people here or integrate into the culture, absolutely.
And I'm not sure what language Czech speaks. Sorry for
It's
that, but
Czech. The
oh,
language is
it is
Czech.
Czech.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
But
Okay.
here in Czech Republic, I stay in Prague. So Prague is the capital, and
Yes.
Prague is extremely touristic. So extremely, and that is why you
Yes.
can get by with English. That won't be an issue. Like more or less, people speak English here, but same as Germany. Like it's in any European country, like any except Great Britain, of course.
And
But
of course, like except Netherlands also, I have a few friends there, and 90% of them speak in English. So,
no, when I've been to Netherlands, they also start speaking with Dutch with me. I don't know
oh
why.
wow, okay, okay, I didn't know this. I just spoke to someone and he said English is fine, we can
But
get away
maybe
with
I
it.
don't live there. I went there for a few days, but
Ah,
yeah.
okay, okay,
So, but I have traveled like around 10 countries right now in Europe. So, and every place they speak their own language, and you have to like ask if you know English, and if they say yes, then you can proceed and all those things. It's like it's a typical European thing that you have to accept. And in Czech as well, like
Yes.
if go outside of Prague a bit, nobody will speak English. Nobody. They don't even know English. That's the thing. It's not like they won't speak English out of anything. They don't know English. Here, the first
Right.
language is Czech. So in like around most probably a very little percentage of people speaks English. Mostly around this capital. That's it. The rest of the country they speak Czech. So every time I have to
It's
get some of my
pretty
friends to go outside so that I can get some live translators, or Google is your only
right.
guide. That that's
Google
the
is a
thing. Like
godsend at this point, I guess. It
yeah,
has
yeah,
been helping a lot.
like
But
and the supermarket aisles, you won't get English there. The ingredients. The first few days I
right.
had to find rice. I was so I was like, where is rice? Where is milk? You cannot even read anything. You cannot, and the packets were different. Everything were different. It was so crazy.
You mentioned about food, that makes me wonder what's the cost of living like there? So, like, you both do make food by yourself, you have to do all the shows and everything. That is so matlab, understandable, that is there. But apart from that, what's the cost like and the living condition, especially for the students? Because then again, for students, you might also be doing a lot of part-time jobs.
yeah.
So, how exactly does it fit in?
Uh, to be honest, like at least in Germany, I think it varies from region to region. If you are staying in Berlin or Munich, you can easily expect your monthly expenses to go about 800 or 900 euros. But
Hmm.
be it any other cities like Dresden, for instance, will just be around 600 or 700. And in the place where I'm living currently, Dortmund, it's also pretty cheap. I have to pay about 700 to 800 every month. I think,
Okay, just
yeah.
an interjection for everyone here. 700 euros and not rupees.
Oh yeah,
Just
of
to
course.
clarify that.
But we're still in, I mean, we are not at 19, like 1910 or something. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 700 euros. I mean, like if you're living quite a luxurious life, then you can obviously expect it to be on 1000 or 1100. Yeah, I mean, you can have a really good standard of living if you spend about 700 a year or even 750. That should be fine.
Right. And
For
at the beginning, Yes, sorry, please go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just coming to you actually, so please go on.
So for Czech, it's our main currency. We have not yet taken euro as our currency. In Czech Republic, it's still there. It's called Czech krona, and or crowns we call it. And it is around one crown is 4 rupees
Oh,
in India.
okay.
So it
Okay.
is like yeah. So the currency happens like that currency conversion, and how to say around my rent here is around 500 euros if I convert it in euro,
Mhm.
because Prague is pretty expensive to stay. It's the
Yeah,
capital city, so it will be pretty expensive. But still, we share kind of a one flat. We share. We have like I have four roommates, flatmates. We have the 4 BHK, and we share one room each. Around 500 euros, and food and all, it is also coming around 800 euros per month. So yeah,
right. It's
800 to
pretty much
900. Yeah.
okay. I was wondering about the jobs Rahul had done when starting with the degree, but just before that, Aditi, since you were an expat, as you mentioned, that part of the issues and all the like double shift troubles weren't there with you. But then again, coming to a new country, and first of all, did your role change as such in the company itself, the work which you were doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, was there a change in the role when you shifted from India to Prague?
There was not role shift, but there was definitely a culture shift that happened from India to Prague, because
Hmm.
in Indian, we know our contract is from 9 to 5, but nobody ever works 9 to 5. People work nine to
Yeah,
nine, 9 to 24/7. There is no break, whatever. Like the culture in India is totally not good, not healthy. But
yeah,
Europeans respect their work-life balance a lot. Like in my office, or in we work, we have our office in the WeWork. So WeWork is a co-working space, and we have rented our office there. So in WeWork also, it's not only our office. There are multiple offices in WeWork, and everybody. It's if it's 4:30 to 5, people start leaving their office. It's like 9 to 5 means by 5 they will be out. It's not that by 5 they're packing their bags. By 5 they're all out. And but in India it used to be at 6 also, people used to stare at you that okay, you're leaving it's so early, how
yeah.
come? So that was a big change that we got when we shifted here.
Yeah, same as
So
Aditi said, I think like another interesting fact that I noticed here in Germany, at least in Dortmund, is that in German Friday is called Freitag, and Frei means free in Germany. So essentially, even on Fridays, they take an unofficial leave. They work from home. Apparently, they work for lesser number of hours, but then I mean, nobody cares about it. So essentially, they only work from Monday to Thursday and Friday with what do you call 50%
yeah.
efficiency, and Saturday
And
Sundays is definitely.
you like go and assign something. For example, we are some assigning somebody else some task, and he will be like, "Okay, today is Friday, no more."
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
Monday's problem.
exactly.
Even if it is like
okay.
12 in the morning, just after the stand up, and we are all discussing what work, and he's like, "No new work." Like whatever is assigned, if that's done, then that's done for the week. And then yeah.
Wow. I wish when I start working, that is the case with me. But Rahul, you had mentioned that, okay, so we all know that working part-time is pretty common in like countries outside when we're doing the masters. So what was the case with you? Like, uh, were you able to manage at the beginning when you had a part-time job and had studies and everything was new? And now you are still like your part-time jobs are in the academic area. But before, was it the same case? Or if not, how did you manage everything then?
Yeah, I think like when I came in, like similar to Aditi, I also have four other flatmates who are staying in the same floor as me. and a couple of them already worked in Decathlon warehouse, and they can easily make up to 1,200 euros every month, which translates to about 1 lakh. Uh, so like that's a huge money. But the main problem is you won't be working relevant to what you're studying, and that won't help you fetch a good job in the future. So the most important aspect is you always have to look for academic jobs. For instance, if you're studying masters, you can always do a thing called hivi. That's in German. I don't know the full form. It's quite hard to pronounce. So it translates to
Yeah.
research assistant here in English. So initially, I tried applying for that, and by God's grace, I got it as soon as I came. Like my course started by October, and I started working from January itself. And
Hmm.
regarding the work hours, it's not that hard to be honest, because when you're working in university, as I told, I mean, whenever I go to office on Friday, there's no one there. It's just me on the entire floor. So, and they don't also expect the students to work in or put in much work because they know we have coursework. And talking about managing studies and work, I mean, my first semester was by far the hardest and at the same time the best time I ever had in my life, because essentially I started a new job here. They pay you money, so obviously that's the first job I'm ever working on right now that they're paying. And I had 6 subjects in my masters here. Apart from that, I had 3 courses in IITM also, including BDM project. So I mean, like it was super
Oh,
crazy. That phase was super crazy. But luckily, I was able to get through it, and I passed everything. Luckily, and my job was also super cool. The supervisor was not that strict at all. So one advice that I would give to everyone is, yes, you will be tempted by the salary that the other jobs are giving, which are not academic. Of course, you can easily earn up to 900,000 euros if you're taking non-academic jobs as a student here. As a as an academic job working as a student assistant or a research assistant, the maximum you can make is up to 600, which is what I make, which is super less. But trust me, on a long run you'll not regret it. Your profile will look polished, and which will also play a major role in you getting a job here in Germany. So always look for student jobs if you're coming here. If not, to meet ends, you can always go for the non-academic ones. I mean, I personally don't blame the non-academic ones. They're also equally good. But I would say first look for the academic ones. If you don't get that, then shift on to the non-academic ones. That should be better.
okay. Debojit mentions that you are also the host in the Margary's Ultimate Sport Quiz. So for everyone
Yeah,
who is not aware, Rahul has been very active in the Spotify. He has been in the team for a long time, and well, like this Ultimate Sports Quiz, he has been also hosting a lot of other events too. So I mean, that is pretty much unimaginable for a little bit when I hear it for the first time that you were managing three things at the same time and everything. But that is pretty much inspiring in a sense. Um, Coming to your degree, Rahul. So your degree is more related to your engineering, but you had mentioned to me that it is in fact more a data science degree in a way that you're pursuing it. So
hmm,
how is it
yeah.
that you're relating it to it?
Yeah, I wouldn't explicitly say it's very much relevant to data science. At least it's relevant to AI. What I do is
Hmm.
so, like this. I mean, in my university or in most of the other universities that I've talked to from students there, we have something called mandatory subjects here. You have to pass those subjects for sure. If you fail in those subjects 3 times, at least in my university, this is the policy. If you fail in any of those subjects for 3 times, then you will be exmatriculated and you will be kicked out of the program, essentially. So
Hmm.
once you pass those mandatory subjects, it's completely up to you. You can do anything you want, any elective that you want to take, and you just have to have the minimum credits in the domains that they specify for you. So in my case, I completed the core modules in the first semester itself. So in this semester, I've taken subjects like machine learning, computer vision, 3D computer vision, embedded system design. So I am always actively looking to choose the electives which will be relevant to AI or directly relevant to AI. Of course, like NLP is also there. I can also take a subject
Right.
called AI directly. So those things apply here. But the thing is, you have to meet the minimum credits in each of the domains that they specify. Like these subjects come under the domain of cognitive systems, which I mentioned earlier. So I need to complete about 45 credits in that, and then I can get my thesis started. And even the thesis part is pretty cool because while applying thesis, you don't have to essentially do it in university. You can always approach a company or any other secondary university and do it in any domain you want. It has to be relevant to the specialization you're choosing. In my case, since it's cognitive systems, I am planning to do my thesis in AI, which probably will help me stay in touch with the AI field, hopefully.
So there's one thing that many of the people here want to go out study for the masters out abroad, but
Yeah.
I mean, choosing a right place and a right degree, because masters, the degree matters a lot more than the college, I suppose, and the teachers matter more. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
what are some things that you were told when you were applying for it, and that you now realize that those are the things that need to be avoided? Are there anything like that?
You mean while choosing a country or university, something like that, or?
Actually, actually both about. See, many of the times someone might commit a mistake of going to a country just because, let's say, someone likes US, but then again, he comes to know that the degree is not very good when the professors are not very good and up to mark for what he wants to do. But then again, the thing is, maybe sometimes people might not know which degree to choose, and maybe they might, get with the flow of what social media people say, and commit some mistake that they might realize was very wrong in the future. So, what are some steps to avoid that, and what are some things to not focus on when you are choosing a degree in a
Yeah.
master's?
Yeah. So the first thing is the rankings. I would say rankings, or like there's this thing called QS rankings. I always used
Yeah,
to check that, but later on I realized that they have separate rankings for stream also. And even if you're considering the universities in Germany, in any TU you study, you will be having a really good uh, what do you call opportunity scope once you complete your masters. But I didn't know that earlier because if you look at the rankings, I think only about 4 or 5 TUs in Germany will be in the ranking list. And the main reason
right,
is that these people, the professors or the students here in TU prefer quality over quantity. So they won't push research papers like a target that we need to push about 50 this year or 60 this year. They only publish if they think the research is worth publishing. So I would say don't just blindly go with the rankings, which is one of the major mistakes that I did initially while shortlisting universities. In fact, if I went by that trend, I shouldn't be here in TU Dortmund because Dortmund is ranked about 1000 or 1200. I don't exactly know the rankings. So always look for course module. And one major thing is in Germany, if you are studying in a public university, the standard doesn't vary much. In fact, what I study here is most likely what a student studying in TU Munich is also going to experience. So public universities in Germany are pretty much the same. You cannot expect a significant difference in the teaching standards, that's for sure. And
mm,
always avoid private universities if you're coming to Germany. I mean, one of the main reasons why students choose, in fact, I chose Germany was the cost of living and the student, what do you call, the fees that you have to pay. I don't
right,
pay, I mean, any tuition fees at all, which is one of the main things why I came to Germany. And of course, the degree program that I'm pursuing here, automation robotics, is also a growing domain here in Germany. But you also have to have this trade-off of fees versus what you want to learn. In my case, I wanted to learn data science, but
mm,
unfortunately, that wasn't possible in Germany. And for me to move to US at that point of time was not practical because of personal reasons and financial reasons at my home. So I took a trade-off whether I can go to my second favorite subject of embedded systems or cognitive systems like that, or I can still take a loan and go to US. I would say that's completely up to the student. If you are mentally strong, if you think you can repay the loan or you can take on the financial burden, it's 100% true. I am a very fragile person. I won't be able to have that or tolerate that tag throughout the course of 2 years. I'll always be thinking I'm already starting with a negative financial aspect in my personal opinion, so I won't be able to do this. So I personally thought Germany is fine. I'll eventually get used to it, and I don't regret it even a bit till date. So yeah.
amazing. So, I mean, Aditi, coming to you now, your company works with building pipelines, you had said. Basically, that's what the company has been doing. But could you tell us a little bit more about how exactly and what exactly does the company do?
Okay, so my company, we mainly have products. We have this financial tools that we sell to financial institutions like banks or insurance companies. Like some of we have very big French bank working with us, a Luxembourg-based insurer working with us. There is also another very big bank who serves the World Bank. We are working with us as with them as well. And for banks, we mainly look after the credit process. So, giving a brief about credit is mainly like, for example, loans. The basic thing that
Right.
loans. So, banks give loans to either other banks or other companies. This every big company takes loans from banks to do their activities. In fact, countries take loans. So for the France-based client, we mainly look after their credit process, where they give loans to the different companies. And for the World Bank one, we mainly look after their process, where they give uh, loans to the countries in for different projects. So what we do is we mainly look, our tool mainly has this system of getting all the financial statements for that particular company or country, and then any news about them, positive, negative. That is more the data science part, that generating signals, whether
Yeah.
and then giving them a comprehensive outlook for that company, so that the heads can decide that whether they will be giving loan to that particular company or not. So, and this work used to be done by credit analyst previously, like right now as well in those companies. But for example, the credit analyst used to take 1 week or 2 week to get all this information in a single place, and then have this report called credit memorandum. And all of these used to take around 2 weeks previously. Right now with our systems, it takes few hours to get that job done.
Wow.
So it's, and for the insurers, what we do is, insurance is basically, right now we dwell in motor and health insurance domains. And for insurances, insurance data is like the premium that you give, the claims that you raise. These are the main two
Hmm.
aspects of insurance: premium and claims. So, and the always the more profitable insurance company will be whose claims are less and premium is high. But
Right.
but they have all this data, and it used to be all financial institutions in general are a mess, because they have this systems that are like very outdated, and anything, and no automation in process. They still work in Excel completely, no nothing.
Right.
So take all their Excels, we created these Python pipelines, and mainly all this data now gets refined, gets into our product. And then they also can see, there are dashboards where which they can go through. They can easily they can do that with Power BI, but the main thing is, for Power BI you have to clean the data as well. Power BI or
Hmm.
Tableau, they only take the data as it is, you have to clean it. But these are like, there are PDFs, there are Word files, there are Excels. It's not just structured, there are unstructured data, and you cannot do it on Tableau or Power BI alone. So it's like we do that entire processing that happens, and now it's like almost 90% automated process. Like it's
Wow.
just one click, and you the entire pipeline runs and the output gets to them. It's like that. So
So,
that,
when you got into it, when the internship started at this company, uh, Galatrix, if I'm not wrong,
yeah,
and so the main requirements from you were Python and a knowledge of SQL, and what exactly
Excel.
was it?
So
Okay.
the first, when I first joined the company 4 years back, it was still like in a pretty much startup phase. So right now it is in the scale up phase, not in the startup anymore. So in the startup phase, we were serving the first bank.
Your,
Yeah, I think there's some
I
network.
think, yeah.
Systems. My network was gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could hear just the last word systems and nothing in between.
Okay, okay, let me just reply. So basically, what happened is when I first joined 4 years back, and we were serving this client, and first, what I have to do is get their first requirement was you have to go in Excel, because the raw data is in Excel. If you don't understand Excel, how it works, how their formulas work, because all their formulas
Hmm.
and everything were in Excel, and in order to mimic that same thing in either SQL or Python, you have to know the basic. So
Yeah.
that was the
Right.
first. So Excel was a must. Then comes Python, of course. And for SQL was mostly for validation purposes. So whenever after our pipelines run, data gets uploaded to the database, and there are checks in the database which are then run on SQL. So that's the main things that are required.
So then when you uh, got a sorry, when you got a permanent role in the company, how did your role change and were you uh, meant to have more, did you have to learn more things to adapt to the new role changes that you had?
Yeah. So in data analyst, like the building of the pipeline was not much. It was just understanding this Excel, and just the data cleaning part was what we used to do in Python. We used to have
Hmm.
some data cleaning script. But whenever I moved as a data engineer, you have to learn the orchestration part of it. You have to learn the database part of it as well, very well. Like not just querying on the database, how the database works in general, all those policies and everything. Then you have to learn, like it's a small company, kind of, you can say one of the perks of joining startup is there are lots of things to done, because you are the
Yes.
one doing all the things. So I have to learn a bit of DevOps as well, how the DevOps works, how Kubernetes, Docker, all those things. So that's mostly when I became a data engineer, all of those things started getting relevant.
Okay. Okay. This is one personal question I have. So I have been working with a lot of data extraction from PDFs and stuff in Python. And one thing is there that the same thing you mentioned, the data is so unstructured that at times it gets so difficult that you have to, manually set it for every three, four PDFs.
Hmm.
So what was your, process like in doing that? That what libraries do you usually use and what was the thing?
So have we don't use any library externally. That's a good thing. So our data science
Okay,
team has given us a tool. So it's an in-house tool, and it is called Doc2Data. It's not published anywhere. It's just a product of our in-house, and that when you
okay,
feed PDFs in that, it extracts, and there is error like around, but most of it is coming correct, because we have trained it on our PDFs so much that now it kind of gives accurate results. Yeah.
okay,
So it's not any, like I think there is a tabular library in Python or something that we
yes,
use there. Yeah, but we don't, because all those libraries they very work very well with those like structured PDF data where you have tables and stuff. But
right,
whenever
yes, yes.
start getting messy, you have images, because in financial reports sometimes they paste images instead of tables in their PDFs, images
Hmm.
of the reports and stuff, and that you cannot scan using that thing. So you have to get the, so it basically feeds in the HTML of those reports. So every you can, if you are going through the reports online, you will have the HTML version of those reports as well, and that mainly that is the input to our that doc2data system. Plus there are normal
Okay.
PDFs so you can feed, so it's like
Hmm.
support.
Okay. So there was someone asking. Okay, Kuldeep was asking in the chat, how's the salary compensation different? The difference between a data analyst and a software engineer around Europe, that is. And is there a difference between the other European countries and Czech Republic in terms of that?
Um, I think I don't think across any country, software engineers definitely paid much more than data engineers, of course, because
Okay.
that's like. But when I think the difference is get smaller the senior you get. So the
Hmm.
senior data engineers and senior software engineers, they are quite like close, but junior people, if you are a software engineer in Europe, you are getting a much higher pay than a data engineer. But it's not that data engineers don't get paid much. It's there. We also
Yeah.
um, our here, like I can say in crowns, our range data engineers are getting paid from around 80,000 crowns to around 1,20,000 crowns per month, which if you translate it, how much it will be? Let me. Mm,
Somewhere
around
around
4 lakhs per month. Yeah, 4,000 euro to
Wow. Okay.
4,500
that.
euros. Yeah.
That is pretty good, I'd say.
I mean, it's really good.
So, yeah.
But
So,
data analyst I think gets paid a little bit less. So
Mm,
so I don't know the data analyst range of it. But we are like because in Czech Republic the average pay is 45,000 and getting 80,000 is like way above the average pay. So
absolutely.
so the the demand for data science in and around Europe, is it something that has been booming at the moment, I suppose? But
a lot. And the one of the main drawbacks here I can see is I don't know, European in STEM, like in Czech Republic, there is a huge, they encourage people to join STEM. In India, it's like any our parents' first preference is join STEM. Like to do any bachelor's in STEM, engineering, be a doctor, anything.
yes,
But in Europe, they are like they are on their own to figure it out, and there is a huge skill gap here right now. That's why they are mainly they bringing people from all of these countries like India and all, and they are wanting people to come here and work, and they're issuing all these digital nomad visas and all those visas where you can just work remotely and stay there and all those things. So there
okay,
is a huge skill gap right now
In
here
fact,
in.
if you look at the schoolings here in Germany, at least, they have the normal schooling till 10th, but then
hmm.
the children or the kids, they have this option of Ausbildung here in Germany, which technically is
Option
like
of,
diploma. Like there's something called Ausbildung.
okay,
So essentially, they have two tracks on there. Either they can continue with academics, or they can learn something like practical skills like plumbing or electrician stuff, and they
okay,
can get
yes,
into that.
I had read
Yeah,
about it once.
And
Yes,
it's
yeah,
like, and here I can say it's like in India, if you are a pump plumber and people, technician, people will like, okay, you are a plumber and technician. Here it's like it's entirely normal. It's
exactly.
it's
yeah,
not even a bad job to do or something like that. People are happily plumbing, becoming a barista, becoming a bartender, and all those stuff, because they know that being in tech and all these degrees will require it's a rigorous path to be,
Exactly. I
and
that
mean,
is
they
true.
and they are very much all about work life balance and living all the life. They don't care about money that much, because here in Czech Republic at least, and I think in Germany as well, they have this, and if you're unemployed you get a certain amount from
yeah,
the
yeah,
government.
Okay,
If they have all these schemes, and so there, and you have social security, you have retirement money coming in, so health insurance is free. um, like health insurance is not free, like health in general is free if you are insured, and all these things are very much sorted here, so they don't have that.
yeah. Like, and in fact, I think like one of the major advantages of choosing house building is that I know someone in my chair who is a PhD student here. I'm working under him, so he did this house building thing and he chose this electrician path. Apparently, he worked in Siemens. Then he realized, okay, I don't want to be in industry. I don't want to do any practical work. I want to get back to academics, and now he's doing his PhD. And in India, I don't think any electrician can just like that think, okay, let's make a transition into academics and we can do that.
never.
So, like, what I'm trying to say is that they have this very systematic transition phase where anyone from either of the stream can make a transition and make a living out of it. And as Aditi said, one of the striking features that I've noted here is that people here are very calm. They don't just run all the time and think like, okay, we need to make more money, we are out of money, something like that. No, they're more than happy with what they have at the moment, and that's something I was like,
Hmm.
okay, so like there's no reason behind chasing money, and we can be content with what we have already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that works here in Germany. I don't think that would be pretty much the case in India. So
Yeah.
I
Definitely
don't.
not.
Yeah,
Yes. But okay, given the flexibility that is there in the jobs and in the jobs that are provided to you after this masters, how much flexible can it be? And is it that I remember that there was something that you had to do a job probably somewhere or work in Germany for some time, something like that. There was some as a foreign student, do you have any obligation like that?
yeah. We have this thing where you can only work for 20 hours per week as a student. Uh, 20 hours per week, yeah, per week, yeah. So if you work more than that, then there could be some legal complications. Of course, a few of them do work like that. They get money not in their accounts but by cash, which is clearly not
Yeah.
advisable on any matter. But you have to be at least having a overall contract of only 19 hours maximum, not more than that. In fact, my current contract is like 10, oh sorry, 9 hours per week, and essentially I can take up another job for let's say 10 or 11 hours per week also. So
Hmm.
that is the only obligation that students have here. And apart from that, you can make a transition into a full-time job from your part-time, provided there's this tie-up between your university chair and the company directly. I spoke to a senior of mine who did his master's in TU Delft in Netherlands. He is now doing his PhD, and apparently his PhD is partially funded by the university and a company called NXP Semiconductors. I think many of us will be knowing about it. So he said
Yeah.
he has this opportunity or a choice of transitioning into the industry once his PhD gets over to the same company if he is interested in the project. So always try to look
Okay.
for shares or even any kind of job that you do. Check whether it has some kind of an affiliation with other industries. In that way, it's so easy to get a job. In fact, here people, even my seniors, they don't care about getting a full-time job. All they want to do is get an internship or a work student, because 90 to 95% of the times the companies will directly make you as a full-time employee once you complete your internship and work student, because they, according to them, you are technically an investment. They have invested their time and money on you for 1 year or so and so duration you worked as an intern, and they don't want to lose on you. So getting an internship or a work student will itself resolve that confusion, and 70 to 80% you will definitely get the job in the same company, of course.
Okay, Aditi, one thing, since you're talking about jobs, and you had mentioned that you are like you've been in the company for a long time now, and you've seen and been through the interview process and how the recruitment works. So, can you tell us a little bit about how exactly is it?
So in our company, same as first we offer internships and we first assess. In India, that is also the same way that happens in data analyst, in data engineers as well. Like we have hired we junior data engineers, and then we um, train them. We see there is a probation period. If they work well in that probation period, we just make them full times. In Czech Republic, like it's a bit difficult at the moment because as I said that not many people join STEM here, so it's very much
Yeah.
difficult to get. You can get foreigners working like immigrants or other expats on different companies, but purely Czech people, not many Czech people you get to interview on, because most of them either they do some other courses or they don't work in this deep tech course on those things. So
Hmm.
that is how the recruitment works here. So there is that is the thing that it's a pretty skill gap is there between how what the industry demands here and what the workforce is there to supply.
So, as a person who's working, let's say in a BS, in doing this BS degree and only doing this degree,
Mhm.
so should he be aiming to get a job like that where there are high chances of you being able to convert a job into a like internship into a job? Or right now, should he be aiming to just have the best of experiences in, let's say, the biggest company he can get at this point?
For me, from my personal perspective, I'm all for startups because I think when you're starting your career, that is the best, that is the most risky thing, first of all, and that is the thing that can give you the highest returns as well. But then also you have to choose your startups well. You can have YCs, UI combinators, you can get startups there, you look up startups there, or you can have LinkedIn as well. Do your research well, and getting a job in a startup is pretty much easier as well. Getting into big fours or big techs, that requires a lot of referrals or integrity to get into it. And but startups, here you can learn things, you can actually pretty much get your internship converted to full time as well. You have a
Hmm.
very much big opportunity to explore, because you are the one who will be who doing hands on. There will be someone coming and helping you out, but you have to learn things on your own. And the best way is to, like, you have to fail 100 times, and then you will be able to do one thing. In big companies, every process is documented. Like, if you go into a very big
Right.
company like the MNCs, you will have a set of procedures, SLAs, you have to work, SOPs are there, you have to go through everything and work in that particular way. Here you are building the process from scratch, you are the one making all those, and that learning curve is very lethal, and but it's very good.
Yeah.
That uh, but the main risk you are taking is yours on believing that startup, because startups are something, if it works it works, if it isn't, it goes on. So that risk you have to take. If you want a, like, a secure chill job, then I'll suggest go for MNCs or service based companies. There you can have like 2 months of just onboarding going on and on and then you're assigned some project, then
Yeah.
you're benched sitting for 6 months just getting your salary. But if you want to really get your hands dirty, join a startup.
So, when you joined it and around the time uh, when the internship got converted into full-time job, was there any reservation and did you have any, like, were you scared a little of, working in a startup? Would it be there, the job, would it be secure enough, and what would be the future like?
uh, it definitely comes to your mind, but I didn't, luckily I didn't have that much pressure of, like, okay, you have to, everything is on your burden. Plus, since working in hotels as well, like I was in hospitality, so I was working previous to this as well in some small events or something like that. So I
Okay.
didn't, like, if you're scared, then I'll suggest that don't join a startup. But if you're in for the ride, then you should join a startup. That is one thing. So of there, but there was a little doubt, but I didn't listen to that, and yeah.
Okay, just a little bit to say in between. Uh, Everyone who has a question, please raise your hand right now. We'll take the questions up in a little while. And okay, there's one question in the chat I'll take. So Kuldeep says that how hard is it to get a job in Europe directly from India as a fresher? Are the chances better when you have 2, 3 years of experience?
Yeah, of course, 2, 3 years of experience will get you in a better place than a fresher in terms of job. But internships, if you're a fresher, look for internships first in Europe, I'll suggest, and then You can go for jobs as well, but definitely focus on internships first. That will be the best way if you are. And in it's not like India; they pay in internships in Europe, so you
Yeah.
can you will get paid. They want to
Yeah,
make you work for free. So
that
yeah,
is a nice prospect actually. But okay, one thing, Rahul, I've been wanting to ask it for a long time. You are in Dortmund right
Yeah,
now,
please. Yeah.
and I think you are a football fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like ever since I joined the meet, I was expecting this question. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Have
mean,
you
I
witnessed
love
the
cricket
yellow
too,
wall?
but sorry.
Have you seen the yellow wall, the Borussia Dortmund matches or anything?
Yeah, I pretty much wanted to, but here it's super crazy. The
It is,
fan
it is,
following
it
is
is.
super crazy, so it's super hard to get a ticket here. In fact, I would say
Okay.
something that I don't know if people will believe in the meet. I mean, like I come from Chennai and I support RCB. That's a different story. Even during the craze, I mean, people have for IPL. Here it is 3x because the public train that you see, the U-Bahn that they say, that technically converts into a coach for fans. Basically, fans can travel in the U-Bahn. So I by
Okay.
mistake, even if you have to take the U-Bahn during match days to go to my friend's place, it will be flooded with people wearing that jersey, and you can hardly find any space.
Yes.
These people get unified. They just want to go match, have some fun, and they are very serious about football. If you make a wrong accusation about any of the players, you're gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is something I really like about the city, and I think that's pretty much the case with every city. On
yeah.
match days, the city becomes
So
so
I
vibrant.
was in Barcelona last week,
Oh wow, yeah,
and
it should be even
and it
crazier.
Okay.
was the match, and on the match day, and literally on the during the match time, it was empty. The streets were empty. You can only see a pack of people in front of all those match screening bars or pubs that were happening, and that's it. And then with each goal, people were like, oh, and you can see the goal, people shouting, and the match ended, and you can see all the people on the streets again.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Okay,
it's
okay. You mean the Barca and Inter match?
yeah. The I think last Wednesday, the one that was happening.
Okay, yes, yes, that one. Oh, damn. That was a great match, actually. Did you watch it?
I was on the roads. I had a glimpse of it,
Okay.
but I
Oh, was it 3-3 at the end or
Yes,
yeah,
three
it was
three?
3-3.
it was tied. It
3-3?
was
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, there was a own goal from the keeper, I think, and yeah, okay. Like
Yeah.
I watched this partially, so I don't know.
Yeah, I watched half of the match and it was one of the best matches I've watched in a year or so.
Wow.
So it
Okay.
was pretty amazing. Yes.
So you should be
But
fortunate
nothing
that you were
beats,
in Barcelona at the same time. So
yeah. I would actually, frankly speaking, I would love to. There are two, three places where the fan following is so, it's something else. You
yeah.
actually have to be. So one place is the Kolkata Derby, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
The
that
Mohan
is
Bagan
Mohan,
Derby.
crazy.
I don't know, Moon. Yeah, that one.
That is crazy.
Yes, that's what I've heard
Families
about it.
break
And
on that. Literally, families split up on that. If you have players
yes,
from East Bengal and players from Mohun Bagan, I don't speak to my boyfriend for 2 days after match because he is with a different one. So it's like
that is
this.
true.
So
So that being one, Barca because it's my one of my favorite. It's my favorite team, and secondly the Borussia because of how hostile the people there are, the fans. I've
Yeah,
never seen
yeah.
fans so hostile in Europe, which is generally very peaceful. So these three places are. If anyone does visit, I would suggest do go and witness these instances of people becoming so crazy that you forget everything else.
Yeah, they
But
have this
okay,
crazy routine also during match days. Like if you go to city center, there will be a gathering of people walking towards city center with some chants. They make up this chants on the fly or something. I don't know, but everyone sings the same line for some reason. I don't know how. And
yes.
then the same vibe. They go to matches 2 hours before the match and 2 hours after the match. The public transportation is a no. It's a big no for you. You won't be able to take it. Like
Yeah.
there won't be any space for you. So in that way, I really like the unity here. Yeah.
Okay. We have someone raising their hand, so Rishabh, please go on if you have something to ask or share.
My voice audible.
Yes, you are audible.
I had one question. I have one question from Mohit and one from Rahul. The first question from Aditi is that the internship you got, was that the first internship you had, or previously you had some experience? And how did you get that internship?
So the internship that I got was the first one actually in the data field or in the tech field, because previously I had an internship, but that was in my hospitality field. So that was a different one. But this one I applied through, I think, Upgrad used to have their yeah, you I applied through Upgrad. So I have all these enrolled into all these placement programs into various platforms like Upgrad, Internshala you can have, or LinkedIn I think also used to have something or the other. So all those places I was applying, and this one I got through Upgrad. Yeah.
Okay, thank
That
you.
is amazing.
And from Rahul, I want to ask is that
Yeah.
I was also I am doing dual degree. Okay? I am doing BTech in CSC and this BS. So I was also
Wow.
planning
Okay.
to go abroad.
Hmm.
So would you my degree is complete. This BTech will complete in 2026 next year. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And BS will complete. I'm currently in diploma level. I've done with the diploma in programming, so it is
Wow.
expected
Okay.
finished within 27. I think I will complete the BSc level and then BS in 28, I guess. So
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I maybe bit late also. The projects are getting difficult.
Yeah.
So
Of course. I mean,
Yes,
like you will finish it off early, man. Don't worry. Yeah.
what would you suggest me to start applying for abroad after completing BS or after completing BTech? What would be your suggestion?
If you want to do your masters in CS, then you can definitely get started soon after your BTech. Because as I said, most of the universities in Europe they look for relevant credits in your bachelor's. So if you want to get started with MS in CS or any other domain you want, then specifically not data science, then you can get started as early as
I
2026 when
want to
you.
get in data science. I don't want to get in directly in CS.
Then I suppose it will be better if you wait till you complete your BS, but still you can always have a look at the
And
universities.
is there anything like the degree is being acceptable or not? Because I have seen many
it
screenshots
is.
recently
It
Of course
that
is.
it is. No, no, it
it
is, it is.
get also some IITs are also saying something like your degree is eligible. Like IIT Kanpur rejected few students.
Ah,
So there
Uh,
is no problem like that, right?
I don't know about IIT Kanpur. I'm sorry, but then in Europe, yes, it works. It really works because in Europe they ask for the university name that you studied in, and at the same time you also will have to provide the rankings of the university. So that does play a role in you getting admission there. So I think it should work. I think it should work because my friend has also completed his BS there. He'll be coming to India in another month for your graduation. I think the graduation is in June, I suppose, or May end. I'm not really sure. So he has put this IITM BS program in his resume. So I think that should also
Uh,
work,
and
hopefully.
have you done any language courses before applying to Germany?
I did take one in India. I completed just A1 there, but didn't give any exam. But one thing that I would suggest is if you want to study German there in India itself, I would suggest you to complete till at least B1. B1 is also less. The reason why I was just restricting to B1 is you can come here and do your B2, or if you think I have too many things to focus on right now, I won't be able to give my 100% while learning German. Please come here and study. You'll if you are enrolled in any public universities, you'll get that class for free. Even I'm enrolled in A1 again because I wanted to get everything from scratch, and I can already see the difference between what I learned in India and what I'm learning here in Germany right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's hard,
I was
always come here and
thinking
learn. It's like it's completely all right here.
there is one we can transfer credits by NPTEL, right? So in NPTEL also there is German courses. I was thinking if I take those courses in
Hmm.
German from
Hmm.
NPTEL, transfer this credit also in IITM, so I can get two things with one.
Yeah, just to show your credits, that should work. That should technically
Uh,
work. But I
and
wouldn't suggest.
do you have
Yeah.
any idea if those courses are? Any help? Or,
Or you're
Uh,
asking course transfer for foreign universities?
no, no,
yeah,
no.
it's to learn the language also. The credits will be transferred to IITM, so my
Okay,
course
yeah,
work is
that
also done. And to learn,
that
are
see,
NPTEL courses okay, like for language learning? Or shall I take any other better NPTEL course focused on tech?
see,
No,
frankly,
yeah.
yes, when I don't think we would be able to give the answer correctly, but then again, languages I'd say are learned more in the vicinity of people who speak the languages. So if
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
country allows you the option to learn there and not learn it before, it is always better that you delay it as much as possible and then learn wherever you go. But then
See, and in
again,
fact,
there are
I think NPTEL could be one of the worst options. I mean, NPTEL is a really good platform, no doubt about it. But for learning a language, NPTEL definitely is not recommended, in my opinion, because as Chatrabal Bhai said, you have to be interactive. I learned the same thing in India, but I was only learning what they wanted me to learn. I learned vocabularies, I learned some grammatical things, but here she at times speaks in German and I get to know a few phrases there. I mean, she always says
hmm,
nochmal. I didn't know what that was. I googled it, says repeat it again, and you can learn a lot of phrases here. Like as trivial as something called aso. I mean, she always says aso, so we got excited and we wanted to learn what aso means. It means okay. So something that trivial can also be learned when you're learning with someone who knows German, who talks in German, and who's here in person rather than in online mode and through like recorded lectures as well. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
okay. Tushar, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for giving me so guys, I just want to ask about the data related to block
Tushar, your
account.
voice is a little faint. Could you come closer?
Oh, no.
Uh,
Hello.
yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to ask about the blocked account. I have searched on YouTube.
Sorry, Tushar, your question is not actually
Maybe.
audible properly.
uh,
You may put it in
Bluetooth.
the chat. I'll.
Hello. Now
Yeah,
my voice is
see now
clear.
Yes,
it's
yes.
Yeah. So I have searched on YouTube that for Germany we need a blocked account. In that account we have to put, I think, 15 lakh rupees something. So I just want to ask related to blocked account query.
yeah. I mean that's a really beautiful concept, blocked account here. I don't know if this applies in like other countries as well. So the thing is, what they expect you to do is when you are going for your visa appointment, they expect you to have something called a blocked account. So I don't know if it's 15. When I came, I had to put about deposit about 11 to 12 lakhs. So what you do is you deposit that amount into the blocked account that you have, and the blocked account providers here in Germany will transfer that to your German bank account every month. So let's say you deposit 12 lakhs, they'll divide it by 12 and give you the amount every month. So that way, the government just wants to probably ensure that the student gets some sort of an income every month and is not left strangled without any money. But keep checking the minimum amount that you have to deposit in a blocked account, because when I came, it was about 11 to 12, and we'll be getting 992 euros every month. In the previous batch, it was only 934, and in the following batch, the batch after me, they had to pay, like they'll be getting about 1018 every month. So I think they are constantly increasing the blocked account amount. So keep checking that. And if you want some kind of a provider, I would say Expatrio is the best. Probably just note it down. It won't make sense now if you're not looking for universities right now. But just remember that Expatrio is really good, and probably that should be your option if you want to open a blocked account here while coming.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for clearing my doubt. I just really
Yeah,
wants
no
to
worries.
ask with whom we can trust related to block account services. Could you please, if you have that website of service provider, that
Mm-hmm.
you could share, so it would be very
Yeah, yeah,
helpful.
yeah, sure, sure. I can do that. And also, another important thing that I would like to state here is that essentially in Germany, the money that you'll be investing to come here or to study here is just the blocked account money. That should be the major part of the money that you're going to spend while coming here. And technically, you'll be not required to have the same amount for next year as well. So what people here do is 90% of them during the visa the renewal process. They say my parents will support my education from here on. First year, absolutely, you'll have to have a blocked account. You won't be able to claim that there. For the first year, you'll definitely have to have a blocked account money of 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs. For the second year, you can claim that my parents will support me, and then you can somehow find a job and you can fund yourself there. But you can never say that my job will fund me because for some reason the city office they don't accept it. They have to have a valid
Mm.
sponsors to come to continue your studies here. And meanwhile, I'll also share the website link here probably.
Yeah. Okay. One more thing to point out. Pijavaram House has also started a competitive exam preparation club, the Aspirants Club. So the link has been shared here already. So if you're preparing for GATE, if you're preparing for CAT, if you're preparing for GRE, GMAT, or anything like that, and even defense or UPSC, CSSC, whatever the exams are, we have dedicated channels for them there, and with all the resources being shared and the community being active there. So if that is the case, uh, do join that, and it would be very helpful to you. And okay, keeping all the plugins at the side. It's okay, Aditi. There was one question I wanted to ask, but I forgot in between. So finance right now, I suppose, has been in dire need of good data science advancements. But apart from the credit you mentioned and what your company dwells with and those things you mentioned, what other things in finance are there that you know we as data scientists have a good future in?
So one of the things is like this real-time processing of data, the huge amount of transaction that happens day to day in the bank, and mainly there are also fraud transactions that happen, the financial crimes that happens on a day-to-day basis. Like, so data science plays a huge role in identifying all those financial crimes, like all these big consultancy firms, PwC, Deloitte, EY, they have this financial crime team in which data science plays a huge role in identifying all the financial crimes that happen. That is one of the very like good promising area where data sciences is making an impact. Second is for example all these payment gateways that we have, the cards, Visa, Mastercard, all these things. So in few days ago, I got a call from Mastercard, and they were looking for data scientists and data engineers because they were also trying to expand, because they receive this all these transactions that you do through your credit card or UPI and everything through these
Mm.
gateways. They want to track that. They want to track those customer behaviors, this real time. So there is a huge scope for big data and data science there as well in those banks. So like in the tools, so kind of all these are another two major uh, areas for data science and data engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Is your like this is gonna be a little personal question, but I had this query, so I'm asking it. Uh, your work right now, are you, does it satisfy you in terms of what can be done in data science? Like it has a broad scope. So are you looking to expand its horizons or like looking to do a little
Yeah.
more than what you're doing?
So in, in startup, you have to do more than what you are doing. So
Right.
there is no mundanity in your, because every day there will be something or the other coming, some or the other POCs coming, and all those things. It's not a set project that you have to do day on day. So we have set this pipeline, but then also currently I'm working close with the data science team. Actually, I am in data engineering. But for the data science part of it, so we are trying to integrate agent. We are making it more agentic. We are we are creating kind of a chat GPT of our own inside our product where you can
Wow.
interact with it. So for all the data that to feed into the chat gym model to train it, that part I'm
Hmm.
looking into. So it is always data is a huge field. You never get bored in it. Yeah, you
Al-
get bored when you work in, for example, SQLs for a long time as a database administrators, do executing the same SQL jobs. But when you are in building pipelines and all those things, it's always something or the other happening.
Also, I want to ask a question to Aditi. I mean, yeah. So I always had this question: does ChatGPT actually help you in tasks that you actually have in the industry, like to a larger
Yes,
extent? I
So
mean,
you for chat, the one thing about industry, chat gpt industry is it gives very bad code.
yeah, understandable.
yeah,
So but ChatGPT is mainly it's kind of having a second brain of yours.
Hmm.
So, for example, the logic you have to build, you ChatGPT won't build the logic for you. So, the entire pipe, the main thing it helps for me is like I give it to write all the small functions that I don't want to waste my time writing. Like why?
mm,
So,
Understandable. Yeah.
all those redundant functions and all those things that I give, but the main logical blocks that you only humans can do. That is one thing for sure. It's
All
not
right.
there.
so
It's not
so
there.
right now it's not like that our job is in trouble.
Your job is in trouble if you are stuck. If you are taking ChatGPT with you, you are not in trouble. If you are like someone who don't want to use ChatGPT, I will only use my brain to solve everything, then someone with ChatGPT will do it faster and take your job. It's like that only.
That is very true. At this point, it has become like a tool that everyone has to know how to use. Basically, like what internet
Yes,
was when it
it
came.
was, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I remember around I started using ChatGPT when it was first released. I'm always fascinated by all these things. So I
Yeah,
started in the very early, I think 3.2.0 or 3 version, I started using it, and that was very bad at that time.
Yeah.
But still I was using it. And then people were coming to my desk and like, what are you using? You're not using your brain, you're using ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, I am using my brain to get the real flow of the pipeline. Why will I use my brain in doing all this small things? It just wastes my brain. So it's like that. And now everyone is using it. Now all those
Of
people who
course.
are coming to my desk and saying, why are you using it? They're the only ones who are coming to me and they're like, okay, how do I prompt it better? I'm like, okay, now you are coming to me.
yes,
Okay, better prompts. So
I
yeah.
mean, actually, I think the main reason why I wanted to ask you is, in fact, I asked the same question to other people who work here in Germany as well. The thing is, once I got my offer letter of joining in the university job, I was so curious to know if ChatGPT will get me through the week's tasks because, as you know, my schedule was super packed with a lot of other things.
mm,
Unfortunately, they put me in a project where it's pretty much similar to what Aditi told as an in-house product. So I work on a Python library developing for this encryption domain, something relevant to that. So they told me that this code is going to be copyrighted by the university or the chair, so you shouldn't be technically sharing it with others. So let alone people, if I share it in the chat GPT space, I don't know to what extent I'll be violating
you
that code.
cannot.
So right
Yeah,
from day one, I've been wanting to know if the jobs in Europe also will to some extent not be held with the use of ChatGPT, or will it be actually made easier with ChatGPT? So every time I get this opportunity, I just keep asking working professionals to what extent do you use ChatGPT? Will it get through your task or what? And yeah, I mean the same answer is what I expect pretty much the same time. So yeah, thank you for answering that.
okay. There are two questions for you, Rahul, in the chat.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one is that what are the most important things when applying abroad? So like in terms of when if you rank of priority. So if you have
Mhm.
CGPA, internship, LORs, and projects. So these four things, how would you rank them in terms of priority when applying abroad?
Yeah, the first thing is you have to know which degree you're going to pursue here. I am pursuing an MS degree, which I think is what 90% of the students are going to pursue also. In that case, if you're going to do a master's in science, the first priority should be your research papers. You have to write, I would say not just writing 10-15 papers is enough, but it should be published in IEEE forums. At least two of the papers should be published in IEEE forums. In my case, I had one paper which was published in IEEE Explore, so it was fine. I got through somehow, but it's always better to have at least two research papers in that aspect. Then comes your CGPA. CGPA is something I would say that we shouldn't be worried about, because here in Germany they have the scale of 1 to 4 only. There we have up to 10. So the scale here in Germany is 1 to 4. 1 is the best score that you can get, and 4 is the worst one. 5 technically means you're failed. So CGPA is also important, but since the scale has been reduced, the amount of or the score that you're going to get in the German grade is always going to look pretty decent, in my opinion. But also focus on CGPA. If it's MS, always research paper. And once these two get over, then you have to have a pretty decent work experience. By work experience, I mean internships will also work. But at the same time, if you are going to Fachhochschule, so in Germany or in Europe, there are two major types of universities. One is the university, which is where I'm studying. TUs and other universities come in, academics. There's something called FH here, Fachhochschule or Hochschule. Yeah, I'm still bad at pronouncing terms here. So yeah, FH. So FH is something like the universities where we pursue our diplomas in India. So they always ask for your work experience there. You should have at least 1 year of work experience to get in here. And if you just want to get into industry, FH is fine, because FH will not give you preference to the theoretical subjects that you learn, because once you graduate from FH, you will be directly entering industry. But university gives you the flexibility where you can always enter industry, or you can always stay with the academics itself. You can pursue your PhD there and want to do your postdoc, anything there. So these are the major differences. It depends on the university you're going to apply to. In any case, I would say research paper should be a number one priority, and try to publish at least
Right.
one or two papers in established forum.
Okay, there's one more question. Okay, we did answer this. So, see, there was one question about universities considering our standalone degrees as see, there are a lot of students who have been going into masters. So one thing I'd say is the foreign university is a little bit more accepting of our BS degrees. Just give me a second.
Uh,
I'll be a little
yeah.
back. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. No worries. But in the meanwhile, I think if you want to do your masters while doing a standalone degree, I would always suggest you to connect to your seniors through LinkedIn and just ask them if this works. Because during the application period, when I was applying to universities, I think I would have connected to about 40-50 seniors of mine just to know about the universities. So you can always connect to your seniors there, and they will give a better explanation, I suppose, because you don't want to waste money on just applying and then getting a rejection, knowing that this is not that accepted there. But as Satrabal Bhaiya said, if it is, then it should be really good for you.
And also, if you want to connect with more seniors, we'll be here. So if you are lazy for that, don't worry. We'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, we have been a little, I mean, now, for now, it has become a tradition that we are always over the time. But with this, we'd like to end. But I have one question now. So, for both of you, something about your respective places where you currently staying, something that you really like, and something that you wish could have changed.
Yeah, so one thing is obviously the football craze here, because at that point they forget that you are an Indian, you are a person from different country. They always
Yes.
let you in the celebrations or the chants, and it's always great. And other thing is that the Germans, especially, they are super polite. They're extremely polite. Yeah, exactly, by Bundesliga. Yeah. And
Yes.
and of course, coming to what I was saying, the Germans are super polite. You can just make an eye contact and smile at them. They'll smile back, and you can exchange words. That's really good. But one bad thing about not bad thing. One thing that I wish was different here is the language barrier, of course, because people here are so sweet. You smile at them, they want to talk about something, and if you say ich spreche keine Deutsch, then immediately the smile dims, and we can, I mean, it's completely understandable. You cannot expect someone in their own country to speak in English. So that is something
Right.
I wish was different. And at the same time, I wish the people here, at least the barbers here, know English, because just look at my hairstyle. I wanted a different one. I literally conveyed like I want a small one here, and I basically wanted more hair here. Luckily, I'm not able to show my like back of the head. It's like someone just carved it out, you know. So at least the barbers, they like if they learn English, and yeah, you know, like
Rahul,
Also, you
no one
want
saying,
one,
your railways to be fast as well.
yeah, yeah.
Version.
Exactly. But there's this important thing also. Thank you, Kuldeep, for bringing it out. Uh, Germany can be technically divided into two different countries, not regions, different countries. Western part is where you get these friendly Germans. They are super sweet and things like that. If you go to the eastern part, it can get quite ugly. In fact, there's this alliance of TU nine premier universities in Germany, considered to be really good universities. I got admits in one of those universities, but I eventually turned it down because it was in the eastern part, and eastern part is where the far right thing is called. Technically, they can be quite racist there, and they won't be pretty straightforward with it. They won't say just get out of my country or something like that. It could be as trivial as in the t-shirts. They could say we support Nazis, or we don't want immigrants here, something like that. And in fact, if you look at it politically, there's this one political party that doesn't want immigrants to enter, and that's called AFD, Alternative for Deutsch or Deutschland. That is in the eastern part. So now you should have understood better. In fact, I get a lot of LinkedIn messages. I do this for free. I help people about the universities and what they need to do. Even my own friends will ask about the universities there in eastern part, and I would say if you are mentally strong, then completely fine. You can be there. I mean, like it's not a life threatening one, but you can encounter such things more often there than here. As I told, I'm mentally fragile, so I immediately gave the eastern part for that, and I switched to western side. Western side is far better. In fact, here people hate those political parties and the people who are against immigrants. So always try to stick with the western part. Maybe while you are applying, eastern
mm,
part could get a bit sweeter, but yeah, it's just a trade off at the end of the day.
that is interesting. So like the Western-Eastern divide is still existent.
In fact, it was divided, I think, initially, but now they celebrate something called
Yeah,
Unity Day. So now it is unified and things are going on, but still people there
yeah.
are having the same mindset. So I don't know.
Okay, one more thing to point out. See, even if the barber knows English, there is no way that he will not mess up your hairstyle because that is the same case here when everyone knows Hindi. So,
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the first haircut that I had here was super cool, super cool. I mean, it was so stylish and stuff. But the next two, including this one, were super horrible, I would say. So yeah.
you look good, very good in that.
Ah,
Don't worry
yeah.
about
Thank you,
it.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, hopefully.
Yes. Okay, Aditi, one thing about your place that you really like and one thing you wish could have changed.
So Prague is a really nice city to live in. So it's a capital.
Yes.
So it's extremely pretty. Like every time I go into the streets, I'm like, wow, where am I? It's literally fairy tale city. You can, and literally 2 minutes walk from my apartment is the river, and from river you can see the Prague Castle, and the view is like phenomenal.
Yes.
It's,
No.
so that is the thing I most probably like the most. The second thing I like is its public transportation, in at least in Prague. It's super smooth, and like you can get anything any time of the day. Be it runs 24/7. It's not like you have to take a taxi to reach any part of Prague. So that is the those are the main two things, are the highlights. From the drawback is, Czech people are really close community, mainly because of World Wars and World War II and all those. It used to have were a lot of Jews here. So in fact, the second biggest after Auschwitz, the second concentration camp is in Czech Republic. It is called Thalessin.
Yeah.
So that's why there are like people are very close into their community. You cannot easily get inside a Czech community unless you have a very good Czech friend and she takes you to their home and all. But still, also like they are very introvert type of people. So like you are saying Eastern Germany, it's more of here, like people won't smile if you smile to them and all those things, so they are
Wow.
not that friendly here. So that, but they won't be like go away tourists, because most of the thing here works on tourism. It's a but yeah, it's like very cold, so that I guess that they can be more open, because now more and more foreigners are coming, so I think yeah, that
Okay.
is.
Have you visited any operas till now then?
So
Did you?
there is the opera, the theater, main national theater here is just
Yes.
one building away from my office. I can see it from
Wow.
my office, from my office table, desk as well. You can see it. So I
Wow.
have been for, but I have been there last year only when I just moved to Prague. So there was, so there are two types of tickets you can get. One is the sitting one and one is the standing one, and that I think you can
Hmm.
get anywhere, any of the operas in Vienna as well, here as well. So we took the sitting one, but since we it was a last minute plan, we got the topmost seat. So
Wow.
from there, but the main issue from the topmost seat is you can get a very clear view, but the view is very small. You all the people are like this tiny. You can see dancing around.
Yes.
So next, I will go there. Probably next month, my friend will be visiting, and we will be going there for another opera. And this time, I will try to book it earlier. And the opera scene here is so crazy. Like if tickets get, I think it usually around 2 3 months earlier, it starts to get its bookings. And if it's a very good show, like you have Shakespeare and all those things, it gets sold out in minutes. So you have to
Wow.
be very very
So
fast.
the question of
Wow.
the hour, though, did you like the opera
Oh,
performance?
it's very, 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 very nice. So we took
Oh,
the ballet opera. So it was, there was opera going on. There were musicians and there was a ballet happening as well. So it was a complete performance that we took last year. So it was really nice.
Wow.
that is amazing. So, with that, we'll have to end this session now. Look, see, frankly speaking, I could have much more questions that I put. I myself am a very curious guy, so sometimes I have to be told to stop. But anyways, this was lovely to have you here. It was lovely that you could, give some hours of your Sunday's evening to us and help everyone, let us know about your experiences so that we could learn from you. But thank you very much. It was lovely to have you here. We hope that you come here often, and even when you come to Chennai, the campus, or India, we hope to meet you both. Thank you very much for being here. It was lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, just a minute
Yes.
before concluding. I'm sorry for taking extra time. I just wanted to thank three people here in the meet, and one of them is not here. Of course, Debajit Bhaiya, Himanshu Bhaiya, and
Yes.
Darshan Bhaiya. I think Darshan Bhaiya is the one whom you had in the first session, like Darshan
Yes.
and Antara. Like all three of them, because like you told at some point that I have been active in Spotify. I joined there just as a content creator. So I just had to write content, but all three of them trusted in me and gave me hosting opportunities. And since then, I've been doing hosting primarily for Spotify. And in fact, for this very session, it was one of them, Debajit Bhaiya, who invited me here. So thanks to all three of
Yes.
them. And yeah, I mean, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. You've been a wonderful host. I'll definitely take a few
Thank you.
pointers from you while going forward. And
Alright.
thank you for Aditi as well. Thank you for sharing wonderful information. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you for being such a great audience. I also suppose because Sunday night, 9 p.m., I definitely wouldn't have joined if I were you guys. So, like, yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
exactly.
See,